52. Welcome to another episode of Johnny's Bodge Garage. We keep changing names here. Bodge is our middle name. So what I've decided to do since the last video where we were stripping down the 1958 Mark 7 Jaguar sedan frame was to kind of look ahead to the different modifications we're going to do to the frame so that it can act as the actual frame of the hot rod, the C-type homage that we're going to build. So what I've decided to do was to build a frame table. The frame table allows the builder, in this case myself, Johnny, to build a much more square and stable, to be building a much more square and stable foundation rather than just be on the floor. And so since we last videotaped, I found quite a large stack of 20-foot long 3x3 square tubing, steel square tubing, 100 wall thickness. And I've used over here a bandsaw that I've had for many years, had to do a lot of maintenance to that, and we'll probably do a short video on what I had to do to that. But it gave us some really excellent cuts, nice and straight and square. So what I've done was to design out the basis for the table, the top, to contain pretty well to be sitting right in the apron, or if you look at the top view of the vehicle we're going to build, that it will contain everything. I know that's bigger than we people normally need to build a frame, because frames are usually a lot smaller, but because we're channeling the vehicle over the frame we're building, everything is just a lot bigger. So it's just about 12.5 feet long, and overall width is 48 inches or 4 feet. So what I did was go through the material that I had and made sure I had nice square and straight stock using a level, and cutting everything to size as I have, including all the legs and the cross bracing. That's all ready to go, stacked over there beside the vehicle. You might be able to see behind the bandsaw. And what I'm doing now is setting up the vehicle, or the frame, to be flat and square. And so what I'm using is, you'll see in the back here, I have, way back there on the front of the frame is just regular couple jack stands that go up maybe about an inch at a time. And what I've done, because my floor is not perfectly level, my jacks are not the same on either side, was to start with this corner back here as kind of the datum, and then to lay the other jack on the other side. I'm using actually this wooden shim stock, which gives you quite a bit of variation between the jack and the steel to just get it on that end level from side to side. On this end, and I think you can see it in the video, right here, right there, is our threaded jack stands. And I've had those for a number of years, waiting for this moment. And so that allows me, by just adjusting the thread a little bit, to be very precise on the height. Now, as far as getting it level, I started out with a longer level. I think it's like a 4-foot long level, laying it on top, the frame kind of going across the frame. And that, I thought, hey, that's pretty good. It's pretty square. But then I added another little tool, which is a laser level, which you'll see mounted over here on my jack. And now the problem I'll have now for you is that you won't be able to see the actual line. But what I've done was I've taken a stick. If you can see on the stick, there are a couple of lines, but the bottom line there is the line of the laser. For the proper height. Let's see, well, you can maybe kind of see that a little bit. So what I've done is just using that line, I've gone around the frame, and I'm able to determine that the whole frame is at exactly the same height all the way around. And one other feature, which probably falls a little bit outside of the scale of the video, well, maybe you can see it a little bit, it's right over here. Right over here is another threaded jack stand, because what I found was just the sheer weight of the steel from one end to the other caused a bit of a sag, and perhaps there was a bit of a bow in the steel. And so what I've done is put the jack again here, lined it up so the height is exactly right. So now the top of this table is within, let's say, 1/8 of an inch. And that's just a great start. So now what I'm going to do is do some welding and add some cross bracing, and you'll start to see the frame develop from there. All right.